I'm not sure. I think in other states this has happened, but recently in my county, there's been a ruling on religion in school because Pace High, which is near me, had a principal doing prayers before, prayers in homeroom after they pledge, which outraged some parents. And then they passed this, and now the deal is that anything with Christian in it, like Christian athletes, etc., not allowed. And Ustream says they're sick of me. And what else? Oh, yes, and the teachers can't say God or prayer or anything like that, apparently.
I think we might be making a mistake if they're actually wording things that say you can't mention anything Christian, because now you've targeted a religion. Right. The correct thing,
gone too far the other direction.
Yeah, the correct application is that, and in Illinois, I think it was, where recently the federal court ruled that the moment of silence, as applied there, was a violation of church-state separation as well.
This gets back to what you were talking about with our previous caller, in that church-state separation is a concept that needs to be properly enforced, and part of the way of properly enforcing that is to make sure everybody understands exactly what it means. And I have heard of situations where, I think I read a situation some months ago that Ed Brayton reported on his blog, where he talked about some school teacher being reprimanded and forced to take off. She had a necklace with a cross on it, and they made her take that off. It's like, no, that's not what separation of church and state means. And so I worry that what you have are now people who are so afraid of lawsuits that they go too far in the other direction, trying to shut down all religious. I mean, Christian groups like Young Life and FCA, if they want to, it's entirely legal for them to have their meetings on campus after school hours and all that sort of thing. That's never been improper, and so it concerns me when it goes too far the other direction, because then it's just backlash after backlash.
And not only that, but you get the kind of narrow-minded reactionaries on, for example, the Christian fundamentalist side, who say, "See, I told you those atheists want to take every reference to God out of public life and blah blah blah."
Yeah, that's the thing I'm worried about.
It's silly. What we need to do is make sure that people. It reminds me of He Who Shall Not Be Named in his lawsuit against the bumper sticker. That's not where we're going.
The Constitution doesn't say you have a guaranteed right never to be offended ever. And it isn't about people being offended. It's about what the school, as a taxpayer-supported government institution, as it were, can or cannot do in regards to how it confronts religion. That's what it's about.
What did they actually decide? I mean, apart from, I don't know if you have the text of what they decided, or...
I don't, but I've got the general idea, because we discussed it in my sociology class. And basically, because the Christian athletes was named, praised at the flagpole, I can understand why they wouldn't allow that, but the rest of the stuff's off campus.
No, the meet at the flagpole stuff, I think that's constitutional as well.
Because they were doing it before school hours?
Yeah.
I think they were,
that's kind of like a nationwide thing where those kids who want to pray before school get together and go out to the flagpole and pray.
Yeah. The number one misinterpretation about this whole no prayer in schools thing is that people think that it means no prayer in schools. And that is absolutely not what it means. It means the school cannot sponsor an obligatory prayer,
right?
A forced prayer that you have to sit in the principal who is doing it as part of the pledge. That's a problem, because it puts the students in a situation of feeling like, I have to participate in this. This is obligatory. But it's entirely legal for any student of their own accord. They can take a Bible to school. They can take a Bible into their classes. They can pray at their desk, before each class. They can pray at the lockers. They can pray until they can drop to their knees and pray until they're blue in the face on their own. That's a private matter.
Yeah.
And then of course there are limits too, and I would hate to think that people would obviously we're going to get some people trying to abuse it. When yes, you can take your Bible into the classroom, but guess what? When the class is actually reading something and talking about it and having a discussion, you don't get to sit there and do a Bible study in the class, because you're in that class to learn whatever we're talking about.
Yeah.
And if you get over to study hall and you have specific requirements there about what you can and can't do, this isn't a trampling of your rights to hold a belief or practice your beliefs. That's not it at all.
I know. It's been an annoying situation for me because I'm a well-known atheist at my school. And everyone's like, "Oh, you must be happy now." Ugh.
Well, and then it's actually an opportunity
Yeah.
for you to point out, where you disagree and why
Oh
you
yeah,
think
I
that,
do all the time.
Yeah.
And what that does, hopefully, if enough people actually do it, is it changes the perception that people have. You may never reach enough people to really make big changes, but as long as people don't have this view that I hate religion and I hate everything about religion and I'm going to get rid of your religion no matter what it takes me to do it. That's just not what what most rational atheists are trying to do. I'm sure there's somebody out there who
there's
would
whack
happily
jobs
do
in
it.
every crowd. There's one in every crowd, but still, it's not certainly not a position that we advocate. Yeah.
Big problem with me noting this is the only class I am in that has intelligent discussions would be sociology, and then the class I have before that's Latin, where there's a girl that thinks she's cold-blooded. I know.
You mean like a reptile, like cold-blooded,
Yeah,
like biologically?
she just complained of being cold at once, and she said, "I must be cold-blooded." I'm like, "You're a mammal. You can't be cold-blooded." And she got into this big argument with me.
Yeah. Cold-blooded doesn't mean you're cold all the time.
I know.
Well, when she finishes the Latin class, she can go take a biology class and apply some of that Latin. But
I know.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I think she said she passed biology. I told her she was lying to me.
hey, she could have passed it and just got that one question wrong.
Yeah, she passed it with a 95 or something, or a 7.
Yeah.
That's frightening.
Passed it with a C- or what have you.
It's also, and not to spin forever harping on one little point, but it also goes to the common mistakes that we make with regard to language, where you don't normally learn how to speak by sitting around reading a dictionary.
Yeah.
You learn from context, and you
read stories.
Right, and then if you misunderstand the meaning or the context of the first time or several times of using a particular word, then you're very likely to start misusing it yourself. And and she may not know what cold-blooded means or anything else. Anyway, I don't want to spend forever on a science misperception.
So there's the one girl in the class that doesn't know what derivatives are, and we're talking about definitions. She says, "I don't know what derivatives are," and then teacher's like, "I don't doubt that."
All right. Well,